Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mahesh Babu. I head the electric division in Mahindra. I thought I'll use this opportunity to share some of the thoughts, what we have and why electric and so on. Often people ask us, when are you making vehicle like Tesla in Mahindra? Because being the only player, and I always tell them that Mahindra is here, or somebody in India as an industry person looks at what problem we are solving in India rather than making some aspirational vehicles. Today in India, as Minister said, we have a challenge of economy. We are importing almost $80 billion worth of oil. It's a challenge. Report says by 2040, I believe, that 70% of Indian population is going to be in cities. There is a huge migration of population towards city. As of today, we have about 650,000 deaths due to air quality related deaths in India. It's like crashing 7 Boeings every single day. And we are not going to solve this problem by just doing incremental improvements in fossil fuel emissions, because it's, I would say, unprecedented challenge is being faced by society, at the same time mobility. I met some of the people, I think some learned people have told me that in almost a century they have not seen the disruption what is being seen by mobility today. So the challenges in the society, the challenges on the mobility. So how do we integrate them and give them a smart solution, which is the theme of this today discussion. So how do we smartly look at the challenges faced by the society and create a solution which will help both industry as well as society? That's what we are in, and that's what we are talking about, what Indian industry needs to do to solve the problem what we are today facing with. And then we strongly believe in electric. Why electric? There are a lot of debates about electric being more cleaner than regular fuels, in fact not cleaner than regular fuels. There are a lot of debates going on. I think the basic principle what I want to share with you is, what do you have pollution at given instant at that time? For example, in Delhi pollution is a problem, but pollution may not be a problem if you stay 500 kilometers away from here or 1000 kilometers away from here. So if you want to remove a pollution which is instantaneous in city in which you are living, it's important that you have clean transportation like electric vehicles in the location in which you are living. Forget about CO2, greenhouse gases, that is next level. One level is first you have to de-risk yourself from the way in which you are living daily. Second is look about panel. If you demarcate between the two, then you will have a clear answer why EV and why not other fuels. EV has two fronts to it. I would say today, as of now, the viable, most sustainable transport is EV, because if you take electric vehicle, its efficiency is more than 85%. I have started my career in combustion engines. I have been a very passionate combustion engineer for the last 16 years before I moved into electric vehicles, and I have tried all possible ways which I can't cross 25% more efficient in fossil fuel vehicles. So the gap is huge. So you are not going to bridge this gap by just doing incremental improvement, and hence it is very efficient, and hence today it is not viable, but we have talked about how it can become viable over a period of time. The cost of acquisition of batteries are dropping down, and hence if you see a very efficient machine which can transport you economically from a point A to point B, we believe it is electric because of the higher efficiency when compared to anything. We talked about other modes of transport. I think it lies between the fossil fuel and EV being the most efficient as of now to transportation. Looking at economics, I think EV right now everybody is looking at acquisition cost rather than total cost of ownership over a 5-year period. If you look at us, we have worked very closely with employee transportation in Bangalore, where today we have about, even in Delhi and both the cities, we have about 500 cars running, picking every day employees to office and back, which is shared, and also it helps to reduce the congestion in the city, and it's clean. We have run about 12 million kilometers only in employee transport like this. So everybody asks, what happens to electric vehicle? Will it stop? If it stops, what happens? I think it's the same question you have to ask if your regular vehicle stops, because it's an emerging technology. We have run 50 million kilometers overall in India, so it is not a small number where you can look at. It's a niche technology. It's no more a niche technology. It's run 50 million kilometers in Indian roads, in Delhi, in Bangalore, in altitudes like Himachal, in corrosive conditions like Trivandrum or Chennai. And hence EV is no more a niche technology. It's a technology embraced, and it's becoming more and more popular. Our experience in this commute, and also what the minister has said, we are running about 100 plus vehicles in Nagpur. We have covered about 800,000 kilometers in Nagpur alone with aggregator like Ola. Both the experience of us, both in employee commute and in shared mobility, we find EVs becoming more and more economically viable, because the apprehensions of batteries, life, all that is slowly falling off. Because in India started with a battery of lead acid, so everybody is worried battery will fall in 1 year time. We have run vehicles more than 5 years and we have not changed batteries, just like that. So unless you go and do something which is very unconventional, batteries are not going to be going off the use so easily. So with 50 million kilometers, with every day, the employee commuting runs at about 200 kilometers a day. He runs 3 shifts with two to 3 drivers, and he picks all the IT employees and round the clock, round the shifts, and it's 200 to 250 kilometers a day. Our experience is, if you run more than 150 kilometers a day, it becomes super economical to run an EV. You don't need to worry, because it gives you enough money to plow back. Even if you want to buy back a vehicle after 5 years, you can do that. So because of the low running cost, electricity is very stable cost. It also takes out a lot of what I would say operational efficiencies of running a fleet. One of the guy came and told me that after putting EV, his intervention to run a fleet has drastically come down by about 70%, because he no more have to clear the fuel bills, check whether the driver is actually filling the right quantity of fuel, and so on and so forth. It's simple plug and play. You have a fast charging. In 60 to 90 minutes you charge full and you can drive to 140 kilometers straight. So, but these are all pilots today, and it's yet to scale up. I think we need a lot of efforts to make this EV scale up. One of the hindrances today is about charging. After great difficulty and working around 4 years with the government, finally we could able to release one charging standard for India recently, and the EESL tender came out with that charging standard, and hopefully we will release the remaining charging standards for high voltage and so on, to make sure that we have a clear policy on charging to make this scalable throughout India. But we believe that with the charging standard out and the visionary report of NITI Aayog, India is all set to become a leader in EV. Why I am saying so? I may reflect some of the reports given by NITI and others. It is just not India is telling about policy. The policy came out from NITI Aayog was a very clear 3-stage policy, which clearly says what we need to do in short term, mid term and long term. I think I like the policy because it was comprehensive, and it gives how we have to get prepared and why India is critical to it. See, traditionally in automobile, in India always follow zero, US or other technologies. We typically bring a technology of Euro 6 or Euro 5 after every 5 years when it is launched in Europe. So what happens? There is no creative innovation comes out of India. You just copy something which has been done, it is safe and clean, and then keep moving. But what's happening in EV is making a story different. because most of the countries are picking up in EV now. Maybe 2-3 years here and there, not 5 years or 10 years here and there. I think technologically EV is very simple. The motor is not as complicated as engine, which I have studied, and it's very efficient, and it allows a lot of new players to come. You can see a lot of startups getting EVs. Tesla came up so quickly because it's a simple technology, but you can create a huge value to customer by connected by other things. And India is the IT hub. You know, Bangalore and India is IT hub, where we have a very large talent on IT. So we believe if you integrate that with EVs and mobility, I think we can create a smart ecosystem in India which will lead the world. So this is the only chance for us after 100 years, India, to take a chance to create something where we will lead in technology and solution, mobility solution, than just following. And I believe that with what Niti Aayog's report, with EV and government's vision, there is a huge chance that the industry can play this vital role. The other point what I want to say is EV is just not a mobility machine. It is connected, and it has a very high chance to create value when you connect them well. The asset what we use as a car is just parked. For example, today somebody picked me from airport, dropped me here. I'm sure he is waiting outside till he drops me back to the airport. So the asset is fully not utilized. We'll have to find a way how to utilize the asset which we are investing, rather than what we acquire and just keep it with us. So whenever even minister says, now when are you going to get a vehicle which is aspirational, which he also set down right now, I always tell him back, first let's solve the mobility problem, and then we will have aspirational vehicle followed by. Today we have a last mile connectivity issues where we'll have to put up a last mile electric vehicle to feed the metro feeders and the mass mobility what it is there, and then solve the shared electric space and the shared personal space on 4-wheelers, 3-wheelers, 2-wheelers. Because India is very unique to have so many wide range of 2, 3 and 4-wheelers, and we are short of public transport, which is picking up now. And hence what electric solutions we create for India is not the same what others will do in other countries. And hence we allow to work out jointly with all stakeholders to create a solution which will solve our problem today, and this should be scalable to the world future. So with that, I would say that we are in a very, very tipping point in both technology as well as on societal interference by mobility, and there is a very huge chance, if we grab that opportunity, to become a leading player in the world in electric as well as in smart mobility.